yes, I was in a ghost hunting group. I was not a part of it for that long because it was right after my first year of college. I soon started working a few weeks after I joined the group, and so about after like a month and a half of being a part of the group, I did kind of drop out of it just because I couldn't make it to everything and I felt bad. But I learned a lot, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that happened to me were signs that I kind of used that to figure out some things that I didn't figure out until like about a year ago. So yes, I was in a ghost hunting group, and what we did was we would go to cemeteries a lot of the time just because, I mean, they had been to a bunch of, you know, actual locations like houses and restaurants, you know, that they had asked permission for ahead of time. You know, I was late in joining the group, so all I really went to was the cemeteries. Now, we did mainly only do cemeteries when I was part of it, and we would get there like around dusk, but you usually have to leave the cemetery like around like once it's dark out, so we weren't there for that long, maybe like an hour. Basically, the first time I ever went on an investigation with this group, we went to this smaller cemetery. Our leader would have a bunch of cameras, like digital cameras and stuff, and she would just give us the cameras and say, okay, go around and start taking pictures. Now, I felt drawn to this one certain area of the cemetery, and so I went and I started taking pictures, and I got a lot of orbs. Now, to me, orbs could be like a dust or a bug, but I got a ton of orbs, like a ton, and they were all different colors, and she was pretty surprised and was like, you know, most people on their first time like don't get this ever. So I was kind of impressed, but I really kind of wanted to see like a figure of like an actual person, because to me that'd be like actual legit, you know what I mean? A few investigations later, we used the dowsing rods. Now, it took me forever to learn how to use the dowsing rods because you have to hold them really carefully. Basically, I can't use the dowsing rods. I tried to use them many times and I was holding them right, but every time I'd use them, they would just turn right around and point directly at me. Like, they'd be like this, you know? And then as soon as I would ask a question, they would just like be completely pointing at me. And that freaked me out because I was like, you know, I wasn't moving them. I could feel something turning them towards me. And, you know, you're holding on to these things and they're moving and you're just like, oh my God. I was stunned. I was like, wow. Because I really hadn't had this experience, because I hadn't, before I joined this group, I'd never tried to use dowsing rods, and just the whole thing was very new to me and surprising. So everyone else could use the dowsing rods, but anytime I asked a question like, is there anyone that you don't want to be here, or anyone that you feel connected to, they would just automatically like be like the person holding them would be here and I'd be here, and they'd be holding their rods like this and they'd just be like, and I was like, oh boy, like, give me some freaking crystals. I don't want these, I don't want it to be followed, right? And we did use the ghost box a little bit. You know, it uses the sound frequency waves that the spirit or energy can use to manipulate to kind of talk back to you. We got a few responses, but I would say definitely the most intriguing response I got was the dowsing rods. But what I learned was that I couldn't use the dowsing rods because I had too much energy. I've always been told that I have like quite a personality, or I kind of give off this aura. Sometimes it's too much because it's always going to be pulled towards me. I thought that was interesting, and I didn't really know what to think of that. I didn't really know what that meant other than I'm young and have a lot of energy, but as time went on, I actually learned what that meant. It made complete perfect sense, but not until I went through a very scary situation when I lived in Texas. That is why my next video is going to be my friend's house was demonically haunted, because I'm pretty damn sure it was. This story, I feel like, kind of ties into it a little bit, is kind of a good backstory or some insight. Maybe you don't want to hear about all of it in one video, so this is the time I was in a ghost hunting group and I did experience some things and find out some interesting tendencies with myself, I guess, but didn't really know what it meant. So next video, here we go. If you want to keep watching, then you can watch the video. If not, I hope you enjoyed this one. So I'm going to film the My Friend's House Was Demonically Haunted right now. Bye, guys. We're out of our minds, we're mindless, but we don't mind it. We're just gonna do it.